This is my company, Hunnings Homes. I'm not a lone wolf. It's very much a family business. I didn't have space for all the slides up there, but essentially my mum runs the back office. She does all the admin and the bookkeeping across the various companies we now have between us. My sister works, my brother works, my brother's wife works, Tom's wife works. It's a really family affair. These are the four business partners, obviously myself, my second youngest brother, George, my third youngest brother, Taz, and our brother from another mother, who you've all met, Tom. We started the business about, 7 years ago, with a small property in Charminster, and things have just grown from there, and it's been a really enjoyable journey. I've told you about this deal before, but it's a good one to speak about because it's also my best referral I've had from BNI as well. We bought a property in Ringwood with Lipin, number 95 Hightown Road. She actually bought the deal to table, so she found this property. She was bought this property by a deal sourcer. The deal sourcer couldn't afford to buy it themselves, and when we sense checked it for her, which we're always happy to do as well, at the time wasn't necessarily anything in it for us. She really liked the look of the deal. So she had some equity in her home, was able to borrow some money, and she obviously needed a builder to do the build for her. So she partnered with us. She funded the deal, we funded the build, and essentially split the profit at the end of the job. This property was on Rightmove, so if you're looking at properties, obviously it's a really good place to start. Things on Rightmove are difficult. Generally, they're a bit overpriced, but there are ones on there, and this was an example of that. And yeah, we purchased this house in May of last year. We began the works in late September. We were largely done by Christmas last year, and we managed to sort of sell the property at the start of this year. We actually put the property on the market and it sold the next day, which is really, really good in a tough market. Here's the numbers for you. So we bought it for £320,000. There was 13 grand of stamp duty to pay. The cost of the purchase, so legal fees, borrowing fees, all the rest of it, 10.5 grand. The cost of the finance, so the interest on the loan, £36,000. We put just over £145,000 into this project to turn it round. So we had a total cost of 525k. We managed to sell it for 600k, and there were further costs of sale of 7k. So that's your solicitor's fee, your legal fees and stuff at the end. So we made a pre-tax profit on that one of just over £68,000, and that was only a 6-month turnaround. So really nice figures on that job. There we go. So this is the project. It was a sort of chalet bungalow on a really nice prominent corner plot on Hightown Road. Bit of a higgledy-piggledy layout. So we didn't really extend anything. We just played with the layout of what was there. The best thing we probably did was this is a sort of, you can see this fresh block work up here. There was a slanty roof that came down and made it sort of a bit of a storeroom, but it wasn't very much use. So we just took the height up, put a flat roof on, and that gave us a really good little utility room area and a little downstairs cloakroom. What it also allowed us to do was put a door in it. So being a corner plot, and sat in the middle of the plot, surrounded by gardens. And it had a bit of a dysfunctional thing where the drive was at the back of the property, but you had to enter around the front. So this allowed us to do sort of a back entrance. So, you know, being a family home, parents coming home from school with their kids, going shopping, they had a really convenient entrance. They could now just pull up, open the back door, and they're straight into the kitchen, rather than having to traipse round to the front of the house, come through a front gate with the kids and the shopping and whatnot. And for me, that was probably, you know, subtle things make properties look really good. That was one of them. The other thing was the front entrance, which we opened up and managed to vault. So here, originally this was all enclosed. Again, we just remodeled the porch. We managed to open all this up so that there was light coming through this window. So when you walk through the front door, you have the sort of cathedral feel, which looks really good when it comes to reselling. The other issue we had, and it's the reason why the property was so cheap, there was a leaking drain on this front corner here, which had some subsidence. So property was unmortgageable, which is why I bought it for cash. For us, if you're not a builder, quite major work, but for us as builders, quite simple. All we had to do was demolish the front corner of the property, do some new foundations and rebuild that corner. So that was where we really, really added value for ourselves, because a lot of people wouldn't touch the property for that reason. And this is it finished. I think you agree it looks really, really clean, really smart. We rendered the bottom. It had a lot of problems with damp as well. So by adding cladding, adding insulation and a monocouche render to the outside of the building, which is highly waterproof, it also dealt with all those issues as well. The lady that actually bought it looked at it when it was for sale in its old state, and she came back when it was done, and yeah, she was happy to buy it straight away. And here's some more photos of the inside. So you can't quite see it there, but this here goes full height up to the roof, so you get loads of light through that dormer window at the front, and it's a really nice feeling property. I think that one of the only original features we kept was that's the original staircase, which we managed to refurbish, and we added some panelling up the left-hand side there, just to give it a bit more life. And there's the kitchen, nice bifold door onto the patio. We try and do, where we can, we try and make sure the inside spaces link with the outside spaces really well. I think you'd agree. I think everyone could probably picture themselves having the bifold door open in the summer, a barbecue out in the patio area, and people using both spaces at the same time. This is the living room, just off the kitchen. We always try and add, it's hard. We don't want to go too far with big features because people can love them or hate them, but we try and just do one feature, perhaps in a living room or in a kitchen, just to make it stand out for photos and maybe give people a bit of food for thought for adding further features in the property themselves. And here's one of the bathrooms we did. We rinse and repeat this quite a lot. We've got a tile we quite like using. We quite like the gold features. Sometimes we use black as well, but you'll see that in a lot of our properties. That's a theme we go for. We seem to find that it's quite a timeless look, and it doesn't offend people, but people also like the look of it. It's when you start adding colour, it can turn people the other way. So it's sort of very mindful to try not to put too much of your own taste into a property, because sometimes people might not necessarily agree with you. Another one of the front. So that's the front entrance I was telling you about. You'd have to have walked round to go through your front door, which is a little bit higgledy-piggledy. Here is the ensuite dressing room upstairs. We always try and do a master bedroom with a separate dressing room and a bathroom. And there's another angle there from the back. So on to our current project. I'm off here later. I've been there all week actually. So it's actually quite a similar property to Hightown. It's a sort of chalet type bungalow in Southampton. Really, really nice area, backs onto a golf course. This one again came to us because it had subsidence along the back here due to another sunken drain. Luckily the drainage was fixed prior to purchase, but we have ended up demolishing most of the back of the house and rebuilding it to get the element signed off so it's mortgageable again for whoever wants to buy it. Here's the new, so we've done this again similar to Hightown. We've moved the stairs to the front of the property just inside here, and we've actually added a Velux window here to give light in. So it gives you that really nice open feel as you walk in. Probably a little bit less work here to do than Hightown. The roof's in good condition, so we haven't had to change any of that. And rather than re-rendering and recladding the whole project, we like the brickwork. So we've kept quite a lot of the brickwork. There are bits we are going to clad, but generally the front of the property we're going to keep as it is looking because we like it. It looks nice and it fits in with the road as well, more importantly. Oh, we'll go back there. I'm back there today. We've managed to progress it really strongly this week. I've been doing all the second fix carpentry, the doors, the skirting boards, the architraves, put the handrails and stuff on the stairs yesterday. And Frank and James have been in there tiling the bathroom. So by the end of next week, this one's going to be looking pretty ship shape. And by the time my next 10 minutes comes around, I'll be able to talk a lot more about that with you and do some numbers, because hopefully we'll have sold it. So the other thing I'd like to talk about this morning is the property management company that we also have as part of our Hunnings group of companies. We bought this company 2 years ago, and it's been growing from strength to strength. We've just taken on, So this is my sister, this is Tom's wife, Charlotte, and this is Jenny, who runs it. She's brilliant. We've just taken on another portfolio of properties from another investor, and we're looking to grow the team and add another member of staff. So I think we've got about 150 properties we manage now. And yeah, the idea is we just take all the trouble, day-to-day tasks off the owners and manage it. Been some referrals for Lisa this week for some broken windows and stuff like that. And it keeps me busy as well because I tend to do a lot of the maintenance on those properties as well. And then looking forward, this is still our next project. I've spoken about this one a little bit before. We've got an option on this site, and in Southampton again. This is the garden of this house here. So we're looking to buy the garden and add these 2 4-bed family homes. We have all our planning granted. We've done all the tough work when it comes to biodiversity rather. All our sulfates, all the tough stuff. We are struggling with land registry to get the plot severed. So that's just been one of our challenges. We've been trying to buy this for the last 18 months. So we're really hoping, really close now, that's going to be over the line, and we'll be looking to start this project in the new year. I myself cannot wait to get on a digger and start digging the footings. I do love a digger, it's very true. So yeah, again, hopefully by the time I get my next 10 minutes come round, I'll be able to talk a lot more about this project. So, referrals. As you know, I am a builder by heart. I really do love building anything, sorting out people's weird, strange, random problems. So for me, a great introduction is anything like that, in and around anyone's home, place of work. If they've got an issue, if they've got anything small or big, please give me a call because I'm happy to help, even if it's just giving good quality advice. Cream referrals are, of course, potential sites or projects. So if you see Tony's really proactive, sending me plots or houses that look a bit derelict, we've got a whole system in place to be able to appraise sites from a desktop, be able to find owners and get hold of them to see if they want to sell. And of course, with T1, we'd love to manage more properties as well. So again, but one thing to listen out to is obviously if you've got friends or family that are landlords, if they've got issues with their property or issues with their managing agent, we'd love to have a chat with them because I'm sure we can do a better job at looking after that property. And our dream referrals are, of course, cash investors or joint venture partners. So with all these things, we do, of course, need funds to get the projects going. And there are endless projects out there. So if you know anyone with a bit of spare cash they'd like to invest, we'd love to have a chat with them. Or if they've got a project they'd like to bring to the table and be involved with themselves, we'd love to joint venture with them as well. So that's me from Hunnings Homes. Have you got any questions? Thank you.
How do you approach, I've got a couple of questions, how do you approach the neighbour buying half garden?
Sorry mate, have you...
how do you approach like the neighbour property to offer them money to buy their garden? Surely they usually...
Yeah, I mean...
18 months to buy sort of thing.
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff, I mean, again, I've actually spoken about that property, I think, for my last 3-10 minutes. None of this stuff is quick. A lot of it takes, I mean, there are quick ones out there, but it does generally take a lot of time. It's just about doing your numbers, making sure the deal is a deal, and then literally knocking the door and approaching someone or phoning them or sending an email. So yeah, so you've got to be a bit ballsy. Obviously, it's a lot of it as well is the finding them side of things. These things aren't just there. You've got to really dig deep. And I mean, like I say, I'm very much on the ground building these things out. You know, Tom's spending his whole working week knocking doors, speaking to people, attending events, and that's how you kind of get to these deals. But nothing's there. I'll probably tell you more on a one-to-one to be fair and give some examples.
How do you like when you price a refurb? Do you price it per square metre, or is it like a basic square metre?
Yeah, so again, very subject up to sort of £500,000. Everything's very subjective, so it very much falls on me to really go through the jobs. But what we do, as the more work we do, the more data we have. So as we get projects now, we go, well, that's very similar to that project. We can go back through, and then we will base it on a meter rate at the start, just to get to a quick figure. Once the deal's looking, you know, a bit more certain, then we'll spend a lot more time going through it and pricing it line by line, and you know, working out where we're going to spend money. Say, but the Boulderwood one's a good example of, we could probably spend another 50 or 60,000 pounds on doing the re-roof and whatnot. It doesn't need it. So it's important to sort of, on certain projects, to say, right, we need to draw the line there. Otherwise, it will cost you much money and then you're not going to make anything.
When you got the high town one, so I did finance on that. So we work on the subsidence, but that, because of what they were doing, mortgage, they would lend to it with the subsidence, and then they lend on the value at the end of the product as well, property, sorry. So if ever you hear someone saying it's not mortgageable or whatever, I can get mortgage on it, so bear that in mind.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll go.
Any more questions? No? Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.